Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now let's get straight to it. On Wednesday this week, the DSS made a statement that some elements were planning to institute an interim government in lieu of a transition come May 29th. What do you make of this?
I mean, the nature in which the DSS posted it, I don't know, it felt a bit disappointing, not a bit, very disappointing to Nigerians to hear the DSS speak like this. We feel like this is distractions by the ruling party. And again, there is nobody, none of the opposition parties have spoken about interim government. People are talking about testing the integrity of the courts, just like we have tested the integrity of the strength and integrity of the electoral system. And that's what it is. I do not think that anybody should be afraid when people say we are going to court over an issue. Let the judiciary take its course, and let us all trust that, you know what, this is going to happen through the courts. I have not seen the opposition party. I have not seen Labour Party talking about interim government. We have been talking about the courts. Peter Obi, our presidential candidate, has been talking about testing the integrity of the court, testing the process, and making sure that, look, the process is right, things are done right. And this is what we have been speaking on. Nobody wants to destabilize the country. We feel that this is a distraction. This is trying to distract people and dissuade people from going to court, and we are not going to fall for it.
All right. Now, there are some strong insinuations in some quarters that those making such calls are mostly LP members. Why is this call linked particularly to your party?
I think it's unfortunate. What I'm noticing is that there is an attempt, and I would say, just like I tweeted, a woeful attempt to paint obedience as people who are agents of destabilization because of how strong this movement is, because of how people have dedicated their energy, because of the awakening that the obedience movement, the political awakening that the obedience movement has caused, and because of how many Nigerians are on our side, are on the side of the right thing, are on the side of the truth. I think that the powers that be are threatened. People who have gotten election, or as people would call it, selection, via crooked means are threatened because they know that they cannot get away with what happened on the 28th of February. They cannot get away with what happened on March 18th. These are days that Nigerians were disappointed. We went to the polls hoping that, you know, the will of the people will be done. And at the end of the day, what we got was disappointment. We found out that, look, the institutions we are depending on to defend Nigerians, to stand for Nigerians, are weak and subject to the whims and caprices of politicians. And that's unfortunate. And right now, what is happening is it's going forward. There's an attempt to make sure that, look, people who are standing against this, people who are speaking against this, are painted as outliers, are painted as people who exist on the outskirts of society, are painted as people who are dangerous to society. And that is very, very, very not true, very not right. And that is why I'm here to speak up for. You know, I saw the APC youth leader go on another television station and talk about threat to his life, and he feels endangered when he's in public, and talks like, oh, he's bullied on social media. But this was a person that was knee deep, you know, in fact, hands and feet deep in the conversations, you know, the conversations that led to violence in Lagos State in the state elections. You know, so I feel like this is people throwing stones and hiding their hands, causing distractions, and trying to paint a legitimate political movement, one that Nigerians have not seen the likes of it before, one that is sure to keep the people politically awakened and lead us to better things in Nigeria, painting it as a bad movement. I think this is also a case of give a dog a bad name and hang it, and we're not going to stand for it. Their efforts have failed, and the good thing about obedience is, look, we're very intelligent people. Many of these young people have jobs they're doing. They're employed in very upskilled places, and so anytime these attempts come, you know, as with the plane issue and other issues, when they come up, obedience fish out the culprits, fish out names, submit, look, this is the person that has done this, this is the person that has done that, this is the real name of this person, go after the person. We do not stand for violence. We're not people of violence, and we will not be painted with that brush.
All right, I'm going to ask you two questions rolled into one. Now, on Thursday, the first being, on Thursday, the chairman of the APC in Cross River State, Adolphus Eba, asked the DSS to invite Labour Party's vice presidential candidate, Dati Ahmed, to clarify his May 29 transition statement. What do you think of that? And now the follow-up question to that is this. What is the Labour Party official stance, you know, as it concerns the May 29th handover to a new administration? In the very likely event that a presidential election court case, you know, might not have been concluded by then.
Our stance is that we are at the courts. We are in the courts with this case, and we're going to pursue these things the right way. And that's what it is. Nobody wants to overturn government. Nobody wants to put the nation in danger. Again, obedience, even when talks of protests have come up, Peter Obi has said, His Excellency Peter Obi has said, look, we are going about this the calm way. We are going to court. We are going to test the strength and integrity of the judiciary. And that's what we are going to do. Nobody is going to attempt to overturn the nation or overturn what has been declared. No, what we are going to do is we are going to court, and we are in court right now. We've been following these processes. We're not trying to destabilize anything. We're going to court, and we are in court right now. We're testing the strength of the judiciary, like I said, just like we tested the strength of INEC and tested the integrity of INEC. It's the same thing that we're doing here. We want to make sure that the process is right, and that is what we are busy with at the moment. All other forms of protests have been peaceful protests. People taking reports to EU, to embassies. Look, we're not satisfied with this. We need you to look into this. Of course, these are also embassies that were heavily involved in election monitoring and have released statements saying, look, these elections did not go the right way. These elections were not entirely free and fair, and there were so many loopholes in these elections. So we're taking these cases and trying to extend the conversation, making sure that, look, nobody goes to sleep. This conversation is still on the table, that these elections were not free and fair, and we intend to get our mandates the right way.
All right. Thank you so much for your time in the Kato.
Thank you for having me.